All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday. Hope you guys are doing good today. The government is still shut down. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, AMD causing Nvidia to drop. AMD and Intel announced a pretty big chip deal, big computing deal. OpenAI and chip designer AMD announced a multi-billion-dollar partnership to collaborate on AI data centers that will run on AMD processors, one of the most direct challenges to NVIDIA. You can see NVIDIA dropping pretty big this morning from 190s down to 185 this morning. Under the terms, OpenAI committed to purchasing 6 gigawatts worth of AMD chips, starting with the MI450 chip next year. OpenAI will make the chips either directly or through its cloud computing partners. Or no, it'll buy the chips either directly or through its cloud computing partners. AMD chief Lisa Su said Sunday that the deal will result in tens of billions of dollars in new revenue for Intel over the next half a decade. And yeah, NVIDIA's not liking this. NVIDIA's down pretty substantially on this. So, gold, pretty close to that 4,000 number. We've been talking about that all week. Last week, 4,000 makes sense. I think markets want 4,000. Ugh. Amex has formally stepped into the booming commerce media industry with the launch of Amex Ads, according to Axios. Micron shares are up a little bit after Morgan Stanley upgraded the company to overweight from equal weight with a price target of 220 for MU. Politico cited sources saying some of the current president's hardline deputies are reportedly beginning to accept the political risk of allowing ACA credits to expire and are preparing proposals. But yeah, the government shutdown still. Tesla's up, recovering from last week. Palantir's up, recovering from last week. UiPath up 10% roughly from its OpenAI and NVIDIA partnership news and investor enthusiasm. Coinbase is up 2.4% on the crypto rally. Again, MU got upgraded. And yeah, we're still shut down. The federal government officially shut down on October 1st after Congress failed to pass continuing funding. More than 900,000 Fed workers were furloughed and another 700,000 are working without pay. Medicaid, Medicare, and TSA continue, but many agencies, CDC, NIH, parts of Commerce, are partially or totally suspended. We also don't have economic data. Labor Department obviously last week suspended the payroll report, and other reports are delayed as well. Politically, both sides are pretty dug in. Current administration warning of job cuts if the shutdown continues. Democrats, on the other end, are insisting on including healthcare insurance support in any deal. Some estimates could suggest a $7 billion weekly drag on GDP, possibly up to $15 billion in severe scenarios. But yeah, market crashes don't usually happen during shutdowns. This one's a little different though, because this one can be from this one's as jobs are low. Weak labor data, inflation worries, kind of makes it a little bit more substantial. Look at NVIDIA still breaking this low down here. NVIDIA down to 183s right now on this breakdown. All right, so I'm here. So I got an MRI done on my leg over the weekend, and it's not freaking good. It's not freaking good. I tore my MCL. Not a full rupture, just a partial tear. But I tore my MCL. I tore my meniscus. And I have a sprained ankle. It hurts, bro. That makes sense, because it hurts to walk. You know. So I won't be able to train or do anything for a few months, probably. I'm just glad it wasn't a full rupture. I'm glad that it was a small tear. It wasn't a full rupture. No surgeries needed, which is good. You know, I was really worried about surgery because I could tell by how I was walking it wasn't right, you know. So I'm crutching around right now. But yeah, I'll be alright. Jiu-jitsu injury. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, the big news this morning, we're kind of heading into earnings season. We don't have economic data. We do have more stuff coming out this week though. So we have we got a bunch of Fed members speaking, believe it or not. Tomorrow we have Bostic speaking, Moran speaking, Kashkari speaking, Bowman welcoming remarks, Moran speaking twice apparently. Wednesday we got the FOMC minutes report, which the Federal Open Market Committee and the Federal Reserve are independent entities, so they're still going during this shutdown. NASDAQ up to 25,180s. Gold very close to 4,000. But yeah, Wednesday we got the FOMC meeting. Thursday we got Jerome Powell doing a speech at 8:30. And then Friday we got Michigan consumer sentiment. So we got some stuff going on this week, even though, you know. Honestly, the big concern is that next week on the 15th. Ouch. Sorry, my knee hurts. Just to move it hurts. I gotta keep it still. So I can't pivot around in my chair like I normally do. But yeah, CPI is supposed to drop next Wednesday on the 15th. If the shutdown doesn't end by then, CPI is getting pushed back, right? And it makes it pretty probable we're going to cut rates, because at this point in time, if we take a look at things here, you look at the CME watch tool, 95% right now. And I don't think this is going to change if we don't get any more economic data to change it. You know, 95 to 5% likely that we cut rates 25 basis points next meeting. 5% chance we keep it the same. Take a look at yields. I looked at them already once this morning, but if you take a look at yields, I think the uncertainty of things is making yields go up a little bit, but I still think it's pretty likely that we don't cut rates. But yields have been spiking into today on government shutdown continuing, basically. I think they're supposed to speak again today. I don't know if they're going to get a deal done today, but I think they're supposed to speak with each other sometime today. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, yields are a little bit higher. They're at 1.52% this morning, 1.52%. Everything's been ripping up huge. So all right, guys. Yeah, the AI deal, the OpenAI Intel AI deal is making things pump. Yeah, mine's not fully ruptured, Sam. I think you're joking. Weeks of walking and... Oh, no, you're not joking. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. Yeah, dude, it hurts. I knew immediately it hurt. Again, a friend of mine got me in what's called an Aoki lock. I turned the wrong way, and I heard a... Immediately, he let go. I stopped. It didn't hurt at first. Like, I was fine for, like... I was probably fine for at least 8 or 9 hours. Didn't feel that bad. Could walk. Everything was fine. And then it started to hurt. And then by the time I woke up the next day, I couldn't really walk well. You know. That's how it goes. Honestly, I'm just glad it's not fully ruptured. You know. A full rupture would have been surgery and like all kind of stuff, dude. And so this, I just have to stay off of it for like a month. You know. Yeah, no, you're good, Sam. No worries. Yeah, who knew, man? Intel, everybody saw Intel as like a really weak stock a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Bitcoin up to all-time highs this morning. Wait. I might have to pull a spot Bitcoin chart up. Hold on. because Bitcoin up to all-time highs, I think. Bitcoin up to 124s. Where's all-time highs in Bitcoin? 124.5. Bitcoin's probably gonna break. I'm gonna just put trading view up. Bitcoin USD. Yeah, Bitcoin basically at 124s right now. So Bitcoin very close to all-time highs. Look at Bitcoin up here. The Bitcoin very close to all-time highs. Yeah, I've been telling people, man. I argue with so many people about Bitcoin, man. They say it's useless. They say it's a scam. Like, listen, man. You're missing out on one of the single best performing assets in history. You know, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. But like, just in terms of like, understand all this stuff on screen, I can't guarantee anything. But generally, when you look at Bitcoin, it's one of the single best performing assets in history, you know? And so, again, I don't know what it's going to do. I think it's going up. Okay, you're going to get banned, dude. Good day to you, sir. NVIDIA, so Gary said, what happened to NVIDIA? It was at 189, now down to 182s. NVIDIA is getting dumped because Intel and OpenAI announced a big deal. A multi-billion-dollar deal with NVIDIA, or not NVIDIA, with OpenAI and Intel. OpenAI and Intel announced a multi-billion-dollar deal this morning. That is why NVIDIA is down. Intel and OpenAI multi-billion-dollar deal this morning. Yeah, one of the most profitable, one of the most profitable ways to analyze Bitcoin, I think, and this is something I talked about the last time when markets were closed for like holidays. Bitcoin, a lot of the time, runs on uncertainty, right? And so things that can create uncertainty in conventional financial markets or holidays, right? Like a lot of the time Bitcoin will run up during holidays. And so during the shutdown, it's not really a surprise to see Bitcoin running up like it is. And I'm in Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to go up. But does Dixie only react to French Prime Minister resignation news? Yeah, I see French. I saw that news this morning, but dollar reacts to a lot of different stuff. Certainly not just French resignation news. Bitcoin just made another surge up. Look at Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin pop here. Here's micro Bitcoin. You can trade micro Bitcoin on Top Step too. Look at Bitcoin pop. Wow, Bitcoin about to break all-time highs this morning, guys. Yeah, it's all good. Just say it. Just say what? Do you think it's possible to get a job from a hedge fund or a prop firm or an investment firm if you're performing well in the market, outperforming S&P by 80% for 3 consecutive years, no leverage? I mean, is it possible? Yes. Realistically, it really depends on what you're doing, right? I think the last 3 years specifically has been really easy to. It depends on how well you're beating the S&P, and it also depends on what you're doing. You know, 3 years is not the largest sample size for a hedge firm. I think it just depends, man. I think in some ways, like, you can. In some ways, it might be easier to start your own if you're doing that well, you know. But it depends, like most things. Some hedge funds can be kind of elitist in that, like, they want you to, you know, have all the kind of stuff. But again, if you got good performance, you got good performance. All right, Nvidia rebounded a little bit right now. Nvidia back up to 185s. Oh, bouncing back a little bit here. Nasdaq pumping up this morning. Where's all-time highs on the NQ? Weird day today. $196 is all-time highs. I think the Nasdaq might want all-time highs. Gold up to almost 4,000. Where's spot gold at? Let's do a poll. What's a good poll for the day? Give me some options here, chat. Yeah, AMD, NVIDIA. AMD ripping up. AMD is up as OpenAI is looking to take a stake through chip deal. There's a new partnership between OpenAI and AMD, as well as a new one between OpenAI and I thought it was AMD and Intel. Is I wrong here on this? Hold on. Maybe it wasn't Intel. Yeah, it was OpenAI and AMD. Oh. Yeah, sorry. I might have mispronounced it. It's AMD and OpenAI. Intel's kind of flat on this news. Nvidia's down big, AMD's up big on this news. But yeah, basically the deal between OpenAI and AMD. AMD is going to supply Microsoft-backed OpenAI with 6 gigawatts of graphics processing units, GPUs, as part of the multi-year deal. First gigawatt supply of AMD's Instinct MI450 GPUs start in second half of next year, according to the statement. They said AMD has issued OpenAI a warrant for up to 160 million AMD shares structured to vest upon the achievement of certain milestones. Yeah, pretty good deal for... microchips, but some of the competitors. Tesla's probably just rebounding because it's down so much. Like, if you take a look at Tesla here, Tesla corrected a decent amount yesterday, Friday and Thursday. Here, look at Tesla. So Tesla came down a good bit, and so it's just kind of bouncing back up. I think Tesla's already up to almost $500 a share. It's been very volatile. Shutdown news. How long will the shutdown last? TSM. Yeah, TSM's up to almost $300 a share this morning from 290s. All right, let's do a poll here. How long will the government shut down last? Let's do end of this week. We'll do ends this week, ends next week, ends this month, or November plus. What we'll do. You can vote in the poll now. Poll is live. Yeah, Woods, not an investment professional. I don't know what gold's gonna do. Don't copy me. Gold falls 30%. Will people call it a scam? Probably. Some people. All right, NASDAQ down here. I don't hate this little dip at 150s. Maybe I should have tried it. AMD up big. Bitcoin up big this morning. Good Bitcoin. Wow. 20 days. Yeah, but Polymarket keeps getting pushed back. I've seen Kalshi and Polymarket both have these odds for shutdowns. Originally they were a week and a half, I think, and then they were 2 weeks, and now they're longer than that since we're about a week in. So how about those UFC fights over the weekend, huh? Yeah, so 66% of people think over 15 days. 51% of people think more than 20, and 38% of people think more than 38 days. Or no, more than 25 days. Looking at our poll, 33% think we end this week, 28% think it ends this month, and 21% think November plus, 17% think it ends next week. The biggest gold bull market in history back in the 80s, gold went down 50% one of the years. Yeah. If it goes down 50%, I'll probably buy it up. Yeah, I think it's just an interesting market. We got weak jobs, inflation fears, government shutdown news. I think all of that stuff primes gold to run. Maybe it corrects when all this stuff settles. We'll see. Yeah, again, 900,000 federal workers furloughed. Another 700K are working without pay. Labor Department suspended the release of payrolls, and other reports are delayed. IDF spokesperson. Yeah, so the Senate's back in session today, but there's not really any end game in sight for a resolution. Current administration is pressuring. One side's basically pressuring for Affordable Care Act And then the other side is pressuring, threatening layoffs. So both sides are kind of dug in here. Sometimes I just hate politics, man. Because it's both sides here, right? Both sides are trying to throw stuff in there that don't really have much to do with it. And, like, both sides are blaming the other side for it. They're saying, see, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Like, I hate politics, man. I really do. I dislike all of it. Top 3 worst ever. Bitcoin pushing into the 100K region from a couple cents compared to gold is not even a fair comparison. I have gold for diversification. Yeah, I think they're both okay. One's a little bit more, like, I would say crypto's a little bit riskier than gold because gold has a longer time tested history. But, you know, they're both solid, especially if you look at them. I mean, who knows? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, one of the things I said before the shutdown is that generally during the shutdown, markets move down. It's kind of buy the rumor, sell the news. Market moves down into the shutdown, and then once the shutdown happens, markets actually historically go up most of the time. And that's exactly what we've seen here is we went down a little bit into the shutdown, and then after the shutdown, we went up. Yeah, AMD, big news for AMD, man. Dragging the whole microchip stocks higher. Nvidia's down on this AMD move. OpenAI and AMD getting a multi-billion-dollar GPU deal. Data center deal. So that's dragging a lot of stuff in markets higher and lower. Nvidia's lower. A lot of other stuff's higher. TSM's higher. That's the big news of the day, I would say. Yeah, well, this always happens, man. Like, it always happens. Both sides during shutdowns just politically posture. That's going on here. When will Bitcoin hit 150? Markets have it priced in at 46% chance before February of next year, before March of next year, 55% chance, before April 2026, 56% chance. Citi tells clients to go short Euro versus ILS as markets assess ceasefire. Looking up other news this morning. But, Yardini lift the S&P price target to 7,000 on economic strength. He raised 7,000, citing resilient U.S. economy and improved sentiment after the president's trade resolution. Bank of America warns gold surge may cool as it nears 4,000. The metal has risen 7 weeks straight, a streak that has always led to short-term pullback since '83. Gold now trades well above moving averages momentum. Again, I think it wants, like I've said, I've kind of mirrored the same thing. I think gold is going to get to 4,000 and then probably pull back some, because 4,000 is very close, very close. Here's 4K on gold, right above us here. And I think 4,000, big psychological level. Big psychological level for gold, and we're just really close to that. And I think traders might want that, but something that we do leading into it is we go up to it and then just dip heavy. So. Now, gold should do okay if the Fed keeps printing, though. Yeah. Since gold knows we want 4,000, it won't give it to us. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We got some stuff this week, though, to cover. We just don't have as much stuff as last time. What I'm wondering is how will they release the payroll data? Whenever the government does resume. All right, so yeah, once we get the government back up, they'll announce a new release date, and it's usually rescheduled within 3 to 5 days. If the shutdown's short, they might release it on the next Friday. No, I think we're probably going to cut interest rates again. I don't know. You never know. This is something that you could always argue. But all right, looking up some stuff about goes past the end of the month, but we get both jobs reported at the same time. I don't know. I think so, maybe, but I doubt it would be the same time. Realistically, it would probably be in order. And so realistically, my guess if it went past this month would be like they would drop the previous months on one Friday and then schedule the next one for the next Friday, right? So we'd probably get back-to-back payroll reports week to week, but I doubt it would be at the same time. It'd probably be in order, I'm assuming. Nvidia's starting to bounce back, though. It's at 185s, AMD at 205, 70s. So Bitcoin's flying up right now during the shutdown. Looks good. It's probably going to break all-time highs today. I don't know for sure, but again, KeyBank sees more upside for Nvidia on strong AI demand. John Vinton reiterated overweight for Nvidia 250 price target, expecting stronger results and guidance driven by hyperscaler demand and GB 200-300 ramp. They see rack shipments rising and China sales resuming. Aside from that, it's been a Yeah, so OpenAI now has $100 billion investment from NVIDIA, up to 10% ownership in AMD, $500 billion Stargate investment, and a $500 billion valuation. AMD's up 20. AMD. Yeah, AMD's up a ridiculous percentage, like 25%. Almost 25%. Huge deal. Yeah, the big AMD deal is what is driving markets. NVIDIA turns back around here and dips. Yeah, I mean, gold's coming back down. You just got to be careful. The amount of oil. Yeah, oil is back up today if you take a look at it. No, I'm sorry, oil's not. It's up a little bit, but it kind of corrected over the last hour. Back down to 61s. Gemini is also running. I like Gemini too. Gemini generally works pretty solid. Plug. Yeah, plug power's up a little bit, but it's still at 430s. It's still running though. It's been running since the beginning of September. It was down at $1.50 or so. Now it's all the way up to 450, so it's doing okay. I don't know about LEU. I don't know enough about LEU, Sam, to tell you. It's up huge though. I don't know. Could this be the longest shutdown in history? I mean, it could be. Will it? I don't know. It could be. We'll see. You know. Could it be? Sure. Is it? I have no idea. Again, could I buy 5 lottery tickets and win the lottery 5 times consecutively? Sure. Will I? Is it probable? I don't know. No, it's not. Now, in terms of the government shutdown, we could have the longest one. The longest one was the last one in history in 2018 and 2019, so it's possible we do. OpenAI has a deal with both NVIDIA and AMD. Yes. I don't know. NVIDIA's been a little resilient over the last hour. I mean, it's back up to 185s, hit 182s. Oil's down, gold's up. Good for markets. Yeah, I mean, it's all stimulating it's all stimulating microchips and AI markets. So that's what you see for the most part. Both deals. Yeah, sorry, I'm checking up on some of this stuff. Here, hold on. Yeah, look at everything flying. NASDAQ up to highs again. Oil down, gold up, Nvidia up. Or, I mean, Nvidia down, AMD up big. Oh, markets are up. I'm curious about gold right here, though. I hope they get the shutdown. Again, they're supposed to meet today. All right, so the president just tweeted. President just tweeted just now. He said, quote, just out. Good news for the holiday season. Early prices are down. Tariffs are making our country an economic power again. Also, virtually no inflation as the stock markets continually hit record highs, end quote. So that's, I mean, I don't know if it's no inflation. We're still at 3%. Again, he said early prices are down. Tariffs are making best of all worlds for the USA. He's just a president saying president stuff. Again, I can't really get mad at him for saying this. I understand. And again, I'm not supporting him. I'm not supporting him. I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle here. I'm just explaining all presidents do the same thing. The presidential playbook in terms of what they focus on, it's always the same. It's not just one side, it's all of it, right? And it goes like this. You get economic weakness, usually inflation is a little lower or stable. And so if the labor market's weak, they're going to say, look, inflation's low right now. If the labor market is thriving and inflation is high, they're going to say, look at the thriving economy right now. You know, and so whichever side is heated, they're going to focus on that side. Or whichever side is better, right? Not heated, because inflation heated, they're not going to focus on. But that's my point, is whichever side the risks are on, they're going to focus on the other side, which is usually going up in that situation. Donnie Appleseed. All right, guys. NASDAQ pushing up to highs of the day here. Almost all-time highs. This might be around all-time highs on the NQ. We're up here this morning. We're at 25,185s. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I'm assuming we're not going to get PCE data, which is the personal consumption expenditure index data. If it's a government entity. Yeah. Adobe expects Cyber Monday sales at 14.2 billion. When's Cyber Monday? I don't even know when all this stuff is. I'm gonna put gold up here. Gold's interesting, I think, too. Short this real quick. Cover that. Gold's still dropping a little bit. Nasdaq's shooting higher here. Where's the Nasdaq all-time highs on the MNQ here? 197s. Yeah, I think the Nasdaq wants to break all-time highs. We'll see. We might get a little squeezed down in anticipation of it. The dogs? Yeah, I think the Nasdaq wants to break all-time highs right here. See if it does. It's basically right there right now. Nasdaq breaking all-time highs. Sometimes it breaks all-time highs and then just dumps down though, so you got to be careful here. Yeah. $200s now. Over 200s, 25 twos, all-time highs on the Nasdaq. We've got like a little trade here on the Nasdaq. I don't want to hold it too long at this all-time high level, but we'll see if it runs a little bit here. Rather cut it a little bit here before. Okay, take half of it off. I don't want to let it break down too much while I'm in it. So I'll get out there. Yeah, we'll see what gold does. But yeah, Nasdaq just broke all-time highs. 25, 200, and 250 is now the new all-time highs. AMD ripping up to 210s, dragging everything up. Today's Monday, bro. It's not trash day. Nasdaq up to 206. Why are you using micro Nasdaq instead of just Nasdaq? Because Nasdaq is way too volatile for me. Subjective. Alright, so yeah, we're still breaking all-time highs here in the Nasdaq. Could have held my long a little bit longer there, but okay. Check something here. Nasdaq still pumping up all-time highs. I can check. Alright, Nasdaq's still ripping up here, flying up this morning. I'm gonna try to short this right here now. We've broken highs enough to where I could take a couple micros and see if we get breakdown. Nvidia is starting to bounce back. Let's see if we dip a little bit. Japan's Honda says US dollar, Japanese yen are going to go above 150. It's a bit too much. Hey, thank you, Arian. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the donation, dude. Commodity super cycle. AMD hit 330s. Yeah, I just want to see if we contract a little bit. AMD pulling back. We're about flat in this, but short and all-time highs might be the smartest move. But it's small. We got 2 micro contracts, so it's not the end of the world either way. I'm trying to see if we start coming down a little bit. We've pushed up enough. Most of the time when we break highs and stuff like this, we kind of correct a little bit from people using it as profit-taking levels. But maybe not. I want to give it time. We're about flat still. AMD still ripping up higher though. It's almost a 214. You have to watch that. Here we go. We're completely flat. How much if we drop it all? There we go. I'm gonna take half off there just to protect it. Do what we're gonna do on the rest. Yeah, it depends on what it. Look at AMD rip here though. Yeah, we got one little baby contract left. I don't know what I want to do with it. I think I'll let it sit. See if we get a broader correction. But it's definitely possible we just go the other way. AMD continues to push what this is. AMD is up because it did an OpenAI. It did an OpenAI deal worth billions. GPU deal, data center deal worth billions this morning. Announced it early this morning, a few hours ago. Nvidia's down, AMD's up big, everything else is up big. Yeah, I mean, this is small. This is like $10. I don't trust it enough to add more. But I do want to see if we get a longer term correction here. AMD's still pushing up here. Nasdaq pushing. Where's gold at right now? Gold's kind of chopping sideways. I'll probably have to cut it. This is like 20 bucks. Plus one little micro. I could add to it and take some larger risk into this. Potentially waiting for, but this is basically, I'm gonna cut it and just wait. This is basically waiting for AMD to calm down. I didn't think AMD would run back up even more on this news, but it did. So I just gotta trade smart. Can't really take too much risk here. Nvidia is also starting to rebound back up. So Look at AMD rip up to 220s. Looks like I got out in time. Because, man, AMD since then has ripped up. I avoided some. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ still rip. This is AMD, man. AMD is flying up this morning, guys. Crazy. Look at the NASDAQ break all-time highs. AMD dragging it up. Question is, when does it slow? AMD currently at 221.20s here. 221.20s. A wild push. It really is. Yeah, I think it's over 25% now for AMD, right? Like AMD's well over 25%. I got out in time too. I got out way back here for like very small, but man. All right, so NEC Director Hassett reiterates administration wants a clean continuing resolution deal. But yeah, so you're saying they don't want the government to be shut down, continue to be shut down? Of course not. And NASDAQ dipping down a little bit here. Yeah, look at NASDAQ still pump. Sheesh, man, yeah, things just ripped. See if they come back down now, man. This has been kind of crazy for been kind of crazy for AMD Intel news. Ouch, bro. Ooh, man. Ooh, my knee is just messed up, dude. For all those that didn't hear me yesterday, I tore my MCL, my meniscus. Not a full tear, not a full rupture on either one of them, but they are both what's called an oblique tear. It freaking hurts. Honestly, the Saints need to do something. They suck. They might be losing on purpose so they get better draft picks, though, is what I'm guessing. Oh, jiu-jitsu injury. Yeah, I'm limping around right now. Not fun. It hurts, dude. Yeah, this is a wild pre-market, man. AMD Nvidia deal. AMD and Nvidia, not AMD and Nvidia. AMD and OpenAI did a multi-billion-dollar GPU and data center deal this morning. They announced it early this morning at like 6 a.m. Everything's been pushing up for AMD. It's up over 25% as of now. Crazy movement here. It's been affecting microchips of all types. Nvidia originally reacted pretty negatively from this. Like if you look at Nvidia up here, but it is bouncing back. Nvidia's back up to 186s here. So markets are wildly volatile. Government's still shut down. No end in sight. They're supposed to meet today. They're supposed to reconvene the Senate today. We'll see what that looks like. But I'm not the most optimistic today. I hope they get a deal done, really. You know me, I cover all the economic data, so I hope they get a freaking deal done. I'm just not the most confident that they will, you know. Yeah, the Bengals don't. I didn't even watch the NFL yesterday. I really didn't. Saints suck. The Bengals don't have Burrow, you know. I don't even know who to root for. I was kind of rooting for Jalen Hurts. You know, the Commanders are okay, but they're not good enough for me to really root for them with what's his name, Jaden Daniels over there. Eagles lost, you know. All right, guys. Looking for market news, just don't see much right now. AMD CEO under the OpenAI deal to take a stake in AMD is also directly tied to increasing AMD's stock price milestones, with the final tranche vesting at a price of $600 a share. He said the deal with OpenAI will be immediately accretive to adjusted earnings per share immediately from first revenue. Yeah, we had the president come out speaking earlier. Again, so AMD CEO basically saying that the stake in OpenAI is linked to stock performance, with final milestones set at $600 a share. Wild set. Yeah, the UFC was great. Honestly, that was a great card. That fucking Heary versus Roundtree, that fight was wild. But Pereira came out and did that too, you know. Yeah, Bitcoin around all-time highs again this morning. I think gold wants all-time highs, but who knows when it's going to actually get there. Look at gold fall down quick. What's going on with gold here? Oh. Gold dumping down here. Something happened. Happened with gold. Put this up. Might trade some combines here. Depends. What's going on with gold right now? Gold with a huge dip. I don't know why. Gold just slammed down. Look at gold right here on the right side. See if there's any news on it. See the AMD news. Unless it's like some type of insider thing here for gold. This gold move is kind of wild. ChatGPT parent OpenAI AMD landmark deal. The initial phase will see 1 gigawatt rollout of AMD Instinct M450 GPU. Second half of next year, plans to subsequent expansion across multiple generations of AMD data centers. I'm looking at oil too. AMD's still pushing up towards highs though. Dodgers? Yeah, the Dodgers are just super team. Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin's doing things. Gilead Sciences announced a settlement agreement with Lupin. Got that going on. Nvidia down to 185s though. Let's see if AMD breaks highs again. It's at 222s highs or 223.50s here for AMD. And AMD's been the wild stock moving markets. 222s right now even. 223.50 is the all-time high, and it's getting back up there. Corporate issuance shows 6 borrowers planning to issue U.S. government investment-grade bonds, according to Bloomberg daily citing surveys. In terms of news today, I don't think we have much really. Yeah, look at him, NASDAQ popping up. Look at AMD still testing that high level we just talked about. So AMD is up there. Yeah, AMD's up big. I don't know if it's gonna hold these gains, but you know, you never freaking know, man. AMD's wild up here. AMD making another test up there. It's at 223.10s, 223.50s of the ultimate. Oh my gosh, bro. I hate this song, dude. I wish I could take it off of the playlist. I'll do it, all this stuff. But, look at NVIDIA coming down still. A lot of people thought NVIDIA would correct. There goes AMD breaking all-time highs again, 223.70s. Yeah, AMD up there just broke highs, 223.90, new all-time high now. You guys think the market holds? Looking at our poll numbers, we asked people when will the government shutdown end. 34% think it ends this week. 27% think it ends this month. 21% next week. 18% thinks it'll be November plus before the shutdown ends. I don't know when it's going to end either. Nvidia just got up to all-time highs and then came back down again. 224.30s. If it makes another pop. Government shutdown news is still, I mean, we're still shut down. We got some of the ECB members speaking. But Asset said we're calling up all soybean customers as part of trade talks. We had the AMD guys speaking. They said under the deal to take stake in AMD is also directly tied to AMD stock price milestones. Final tranche vesting at 600 a share. Gold's still breaking down right now. Gold just shaking out final week hands, or is it gonna correct larger here? There goes Intel, or not Intel, AMD pushing up again. Let's see if it's right at all-time highs. One of the ECB members is Scriba, says current interest rate level is adequate as inflation is in line with target. Right, here goes NASDAQ and Intel, or AMD starting to finally dip down, man. They've been up super elevated today. All right, there goes NASDAQ coming down. Let's see if I can find any news. I don't really see any outside of that news I covered already. Wait. AMD CEO says the OpenAI deal is not exclusive. It can supply everyone. Hassett finished his remarks. The company has the supply chain capacity to satisfy requirements under the deal with OpenAI is what they said. So it's not an exclusive deal. AMD gains legit. Yeah, AMD gains are up massively here though. Like AMD's up big. Up 223.60s for AMD. That's a wild gain. NASDAQ is starting to dip down after breaking all-time highs all morning. I'm curious to buy it here, but I'm also a little nervous about buying it where we're at. Kind of high. Maybe we'll get a larger correction back down here. It's now 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, we didn't have any economic data to swing things during 8:30 here. NASDAQ still coming down. AMD's still right up there though. It hasn't really moved. It's basically been sideways. So like, look at AMD. It's basically right up there. Bitcoin's still pretty close to all-time highs. Been making a push. Not used to trading micro Bitcoin and futures either. All right, guys, so we're still hanging tight. Bitcoin new all-time high last weekend. You mean this past weekend? Yeah. futures at 125,650 for Bitcoin. You're touching the 10 moving average. Yeah, markets are wild right now, dude. Very volatile. The AMD news is making the market very volatile this morning. All right, look at AMD. Just broke highs again here this morning, guys. AMD up to 225 even. All-time highs for AMD. 225 even now. Yeah, it's tied to Microsoft, though. Like, if you look at Microsoft for OpenAI, Microsoft is gapping up to 520s today. Microsoft is tied to OpenAI some. Treasury Secretary Bessent will remain as IRS commissioner after filling role on a temporary basis. Frank Bizzigano is going to be named CEO of the agency, according to CNBC, citing sources. Let me see if I can find more info on that. Okay, gold over 3,900. Yeah, so Bessett's going to remain IRS commissioner. AMD CEO Lisa Su says warrants are going to ensure incentives are aligned in the OpenAI deal. Aims to supply first gigawatt as soon as possible. Not exclusive, it can supply everybody, according to them. Alright, so look at AMD dip now. So AMD broke highs, got to 225, and now it's coming back down. NASDAQ has been pulling back here. I gotta trust my algorithm a little bit more on a short-term basis here. Look at this. On a short-term basis, this thing's pretty accurate. This one was right. This one was wrong. This one was definitely right. Look at that bottom. This one was definitely right. Look at that one. This one was right too. I gotta start trusting it a little bit more on a short-term basis. Wasn't there some type of, like, bad news for Aster where some influencers came out saying that they were paid to promote it without acknowledging it or something? Like, I read something about that over the weekend regarding ASTER crypto. Yeah, shutdown causes unstable instability fears, unknown fears, and so crypto's ripped. I mean, Nvidia is down on this news on the deal because the competitor benefiting. All right, AMD's right back up to all-time highs. It's at 224.60s. Yeah, guys, you know, I would never promote anything like that, of course. You guys know me. I'm here out of the kindness of my heart. That's what we do here, is just help people, guys. I just like teaching, you know. With that said, if you want to check out my sponsor, check out TopStep. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. And so if you are worried about losing money day trading in the beginning, which most day traders do lose money, doesn't matter what course you take, who your mentor is, who you follow, most day traders are going to lose. So you can either fund your own account trying to look cool, or you can try TopStep. Great way to learn how to day trade. They give you a 50K demo. It's $50 a month to test it. If you pass the test, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. If you fail, you lose 50 bucks. It's the best of both worlds. It's small risk. You're still risking something, so you're learning how to trade under pressure. But if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. There's also larger packages as well. You can also reset funded accounts if you lose it in their back to funding option, which keeps the same rules as a normal funded account. Incredibly useful. Just a beautiful way to learn. Top Step X has 0 commission, no PDT rule. Get you around the PDT where you can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. It's a great way to learn, and I'll put the link up. Understand all this stuff on screen. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I'll put the link up in chat. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. I gotta pull up Discord here. NASDAQ still on dipping. McDonald's bringing back its Monopoly game. Nikkei soars 4.3% after ruling party chooses an ultra-conservative leader. Bitcoin hits new highs over the weekend. AMD got their big OpenAI deal, multi-billion-dollar OpenAI deal. We got Fifth Third paying $10.9 billion for Comerica's wave of bank mergers go up. OPEC Plus also agreed to another output hike in November. Yeah, so Bessent will remain his role as commissioner of the IRS, with a new official to be announced as his top deputy. Bessent took over the IRS in August after the president removed Billy Long from the post just 2 months after his confirmation. No prior Treasury Secretary has also led the IRS, raising questions over politicization, I should say, of the tax collection services. So, Baker Hughes performing comprehensive evaluation of cap allocation, business cost structures, and operations to continue developing shareholder value. Verizon appointing Dan Schulman as CEO, appoints Mark Berolini as chairman. Here we are. AMD ripping up big this morning. Scam? What's that? Casso. Oh, are you talking about the Monopoly game? Yeah, I've seen that documentary too. I don't eat at McDonald's, and so it doesn't matter. All right, so again, federal agencies still closed, second work week. I hope they get it done. I'm not super confident. The left is insisting they will not vote to reopen the gov without some kind of an agreement around soon to expire health insurance subsidies. The right is saying if we don't get a deal done, they're going to start laying off people, and both sides are pretty dug in. Mike Johnson said in an interview Sunday that lawmakers need the month of October to hammer out a deal on the subsidies. There's a lot of thought that has gone into that on both sides of the aisle, but we need folks in good faith to come around the table and have that discussion, and we can't do it when the government is shut down. We'll see. Yeah, I assume that's what he meant. Yeah. Jensen sold 40 million shares. Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's also down just based off of the OpenAI, AMD news. AMD flying up here. NASDAQ coming back down. Again, I should trust my algos a little bit more. We got a big dip in the NASDAQ here. I almost want to buy this, huh? Should I? Buy one contract in the NASDAQ here. We got a nice little pullback looking area. Wanted to buy a little bit more, but that's alright. Maybe should have tried a little bit earlier. Might add one more to this. Alright, I'm gonna add one more to it right here, and hope we get a pop back up. There we go. We're back up there. Kind of flat now. I'm gonna give it a second here. Gold popping back up, NASDAQ moving back up too. I don't mind the dip, but maybe I should have waited a little bit longer for it. Flat here currently. Bitcoin's still pretty close to all-time highs. AMD still pushing up. Look at AMD here. Let's see if it continues. I'll chat up. Hey, yeah, y'all hit that like button. I appreciate it. What's an honest and legit question? What is? AMD pushing back up towards all-time highs here. Back up to 224s. It should help the NASDAQ. It depends on how much NVIDIA breaks down though. Alright, we're into green now. Nice. Struggles to get over this. I might reduce my size like a couple or just one. I'm gonna reduce size in this, just hold on to the rest. Second now. Alright, NASDAQ position starting to do a little bit better. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, RMCO. Yeah, we were in a gold trade too. We just got out of. I want to let this one sit though. I'm okay with letting this one work a little bit, but it's small. Yeah, market's wild. Nvidia, AMD, all this stuff's up huge. Yeah, AMD flying. Wild movement. AMD percentage-wise just today alone, where it's at now at 223s. In terms of a percentage increase from this news, is up from about, what, 165s? Nvidia's up, yeah, 35%, which is wild. That's a crazy big percentage. 35%. Does it hold? Do you guys think AMD holds these gains? The question. I might end the poll that we got. How long will the government shutdown last? And do another poll here. Does AMD hold over 220? I'll just put 220. I think 220 is reasonable this week. Right, look at the NASDAQ coming right back down too. It's just one contract. I'll probably cut that. That's a big drop. I'll have to look at everything else to see what else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this does, man. At 223s as of now. Yeah, vote on the poll. 65% say no so far. See if that data continues. Oh, dude, my knee hurts, man. Oh, wait, this song is ridiculous. Wait, NVIDIA invested in OpenAI, then OpenAI invested in AMD. They're all investing into each other in microchips is what I'm seeing right now. No, NVIDIA's not following AMD. It's actually moving kind of counter to AMD. So NVIDIA actually reacted negatively to this news this morning on OpenAI and AMD deal. But NVIDIA's actually the opposite, I think. It's reacting negatively because of competition. Negatively to this because of competition. Well, we'll see, you know. Look at gold pop back up here, but when in doubt, I should just buy gold. Yeah, I tore my MCL, my meniscus. I'm in a brace right now. It was just a partial tear, it wasn't a full rupture, but still not good. Still hurts. Running AMD basically gets you share options. Yeah, NVIDIA was around all-time highs. It was at 190s. I think NVIDIA wants $200 a share too. Gold to 4,000. Yeah, I think gold wants 4,000. I think NVIDIA wants 200. Market broke all-time highs again this morning. We will see. Bitcoin 130. I think it does want 130. Bitcoin. Who knows what it's gonna do, but question now is just, does AMD hold? I think that's the question. I have no idea. And again, vote in the poll. We got over 100 votes. 56% say no, it does not hold. Most people voting for no here. And again, AMD's up 35%. Does this deal benefit AMD enough to go up 35%? Yeah, gold very close to... A lot of people think gold's going to correct at 4,000 though. So like with gold, it's at 39.60. But a lot of people think it's going to correct at 4,000. I don't know if it will or not. I really don't. You know, I think it could. The gold's up so much. Government still shut down. I think a gold rip 39.61 too. It has to pull back, just a matter of time. Yeah, 35 is wild. I mean, it could hold, man. You never know. We saw crazier moves in NVIDIA for the last few years. So it could. Nothing's absolute, you know, but... Bed Bath & Beyond OpenAI deal next? Hey, maybe. Yeah. Mattress firm, you know. NVIDIA deal coming out next, I think. That actually might be a thing. They might have smart mattresses within the next 20 years. I see smart fridges, smart toilets. I mean, I'm not going to buy one because I don't think laying around in electricity is good, but yeah. $175 is the fair dip. All right, gold's still elevated here, 39.62. Where did this big drop come from? It was a weird big drop. Look at this big drop. Came all the way back down, then we came right back up for gold. Very strange. Yeah, TSM is up big on the news of AMD. If you look at TSM, up to almost 300s right now. Again, the big question I think today, right, like short term, is does AMD hold? I think AMD's propping up the market right now. And I think the NASDAQ broke all-time highs this morning on the AMD news. And so the real question is, does AMD hold? And if it doesn't, does it drag the NASDAQ and the S&P down today? I think it's the real question you have to ask. Or AMD could continue ripping up. I don't know. But I think that's what I'm focusing on right now with about 30 minutes into the opening bell. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, Bitcoin's, I mean, Bitcoin broke all-time highs over the weekend. Bitcoin rising is not really a crazy thesis. How is Build-A-Bear still around? What is Build-A-Bear symbol? Build a bear? Would it be bear? No. Past time. What's Build-A-Bear symbol? AZO is AutoZone. I remember that. AutoZone's just a wild stock. $4,000 a share, but almost no shares. And so, yeah. All right, guys, we're heading into the opening bell. We're gonna be day trading live here. See what we get. Yeah, we're gonna be day trading live. We'll see what happens. Shutdown fears, massive AMD deal. Oh yeah, BBW is the symbol. It's not the wildest chart. I mean, it's up big. The question is why. Who still buys Build-A-Bear? Seems kind of gimmicky. Went to hit the buy button to add and accidentally hit the close button. Huh. Welcome to my world, bro. That's what happens to me all the time. AI teddy bears? Honestly, they might. Maybe that makes me optimistic for Build-A-Bear, because they could get into AI teddy bears. The problem is that there would be so much red tape, I think, around that. You know? Like, the question is, would you give your child an AI teddy bear? I certainly wouldn't. Who knows what that AI teddy bear is going to be whispering to my kids, bro? I don't want that at all. I would never do it. And so the question is, what percentage of people are dumb enough to give their kids AI teddy bears? It ain't me, bro. You know? I'm not doing that. I've seen enough 80s and 90s horror movies to stray away from that, you know, idea. But maybe these young people, they're just not well versed enough in culture to understand the risks. I don't know. All right, let's see. AMD tested these all-time high levels to get right at 223s. Yeah, I've seen Chucky enough, right? Honestly, in hindsight, my parents are kind of wild, dude. Like, they used to let little 8, 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old me go to the video store and rent Halloween, Chucky, the Leprechaun movie, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, like all these crazy horror movies I should never have been watching at 8, 9, 10 years old. And I used to watch them. I didn't even get scared. It was weird. My kids, on the other hand, total wimps. They couldn't even watch. We tried to watch, what's the old Disney movie? About the boogeyman. What's the old Disney movie with the boogeyman? He's got the claws. He's not really a boogeyman. He just kind of plays pranks. Like, oh no, you threw paint all over my house. You got me, boogeyman. What is the movie? Don't Look Under the Bed is the movie. I tried to show that movie to my daughter when she was like 12, and she couldn't watch. So, different generations, man. I had a Furby. I remember those. Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid freaked my kids out. And I loved that movie as a kid. I used to watch that thing by myself all the time. I don't know, these new generations, man. All right, interviews by Treasury Secretary Bessent for the next Fed chairman will be the first round of 11 candidates. Will be concluded this week, according to sources. Large Marge, Pee Wee Herman. Rest in peace, man. It. Oh, they love it for some reason. Like my daughter loves it. He likes the old one and the new one. My son, he's 11. We hadn't really gotten him involved with those movies yet. I have a theory that like the kids that end up becoming obsessed with violence are kids that were sheltered from it too much as a child, you know. And so the ones that are really crazy are ones that could never watch it as a kid, and then they become adults and they're like obsessed with it now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never saw Hereditary. Anyways, Nasdaq still kind of sideways. A lot of people are waiting to see what AMD does. AMD's sitting right at the top of this range, right? Like AMD ripped up 35%. It's sitting just under 225s. Just under 225s. And the Nasdaq and everything else is kind of settled down a little bit, just waiting here. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes until the market open. We'll see what we get. I'm ready. Goosebumps. All right, so Schneider Electronics unveils new AI data center reference designs with NVIDIA. What is Schneider Electronics? French multinational corporation specializes in digital automation and energy management. Amgen announces the launch of Amgen Now, a direct-to-patient program starting with Repatha. All right, Nasdaq flushing down a little bit. Maybe it looks like we're not going to hit some of these levels. Again, the question is, does AMD hold some of these gains? Wow, look at this big, huge rip up. See if there's any news. All right, Bassett just said this. As acting commissioner of IRS News, I am now pleased to announce the appointment of Frank Bisignano as CEO of the IRS, a newly created position he will take on. In addition to his current role as Social Security Commissioner, Frank is a businessman with an exceptional track record. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Paul Tudor Jones sees a big rally before the bull market peaks. He told NBC that stocks could surge sharply before blow off top, comparing today's setup to 1999's tech bubble. He cited an unprecedented mix of 6% U.S. deficit and a Fed easing cycle, unlike 99's surplus and rate hikes. Jones warns that while the next step could bring big gains, the eventual market peak could be sudden and steep drop. You guys agree with him here? We could be in a bubble. I mean, I agree. The question is, when does the bubble pop? You know. UBS also raised Tesla here. Tesla at 440s. Contracted a little bit. Nvidia popped too on markets. What made the market pop just now? Does anybody know? Nvidia, Nasdaq popped. Could be Nvidia. Look at this. I don't see any news that would move markets this much. Yeah, MU flying up, man. MU at almost MU tapped $200 a share this morning. Look at MU, got up to 199.87, almost 200. Very close to 200. Bro, where's my freaking dividend from T-bill, bro? All right, dude. Dude, it says the date was 10/2, which was last Thursday. I'm not showing any dividend payments into this T-bill. Where you at, dude? Are you closed because of the government? Are you not paying me my dividend right now? Been holding this for how long? Well, we have a year similar to 2022. 2022 is volatile, man. We had high inflation. We had high inflation, rebounds from the easing market of 2020s, and a restrictive Federal Reserve. Ironically, people back then probably said the same thing about dot-com crash situation. My concern is that it would be a sudden pop or slow leaking. It says Treasury interest payments are supposed to come out. But I don't see my T-bill payment. TBIL. Oh, actually, no, they paid me out. My apologies. Okay, good. I'm dumb. They paid me out. I was about to say, bro, y'all better pay me. Alright. What do you think AMD will hit for its high today? I don't know, man. AMD is wild. It's up 35%. The question is, I mean, and it's up here. One of the, again, the interesting part of AMD is that it's up here at all-time highs, up 35% on the day, and it's kind of sideways now too. So it's up here and it's sideways. So it has, point is, like, it's up here and it hasn't really pulled back and then tried to bounce again. So it's just kind of consolidating at the top right here for AMD. I think because of that, the open's going to be interesting. Just based off of AMD being up there. It could dip big, it could run big. I would just be careful right now. It's up a lot, you know. I have no idea whether you should sell, buy AMD. No idea. It's too much variance for me to answer that question. And I'm sorry, this is not all-time highs for AMD. Yeah, this is not all-time highs. But the other thing that you might want to pay attention to is that AMD's all-time highs are 227.30. Right? So 227.30, we are at 224s right now. Got up to 225s. The 227.30 is not that far away. 227.30 is like right here. And so we are pretty close to the all-time highs, and I think whenever you're this close, it becomes more likely we're going to test it. And so generally, again, I'm going to preface this, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. But I tend to be more bullish here just because AMD is so close to all-time highs right now. I tend to be more bullish on it, thinking it's going to rebound and at least test it. It might not hold up there. It might not hold where it's at now, and it might drop. I really have no idea. But if I had to pick a direction, it would be on the upside for markets just because we've pulled back big. AMD's close to all-time highs, and I just think that makes sense. Right? I think that makes sense. I think close to all-time highs. AMD is right around all-time highs, and I think AMD might want to make another push up here. What do you guys think? Up or down today? Bull or bear? Let me know in chat. 18 minutes until the open. People are so crazy over AI, especially OpenAI. Yeah, PE is high. Yeah, it is. A lot of PE ratios are high right now, though. I might try to buy a dip here if we get one, but but I want to hold it into the opening bell. I don't know. Nvidia's also moving things too, so markets now price in a 3-week government shutdown on derivatives markets. 3-week government shutdown. They're betting on 21 days as DC talks stall over 2.5 million wagered. Economists note the shutdown, which began, has at least an 85% chance of lasting 10 plus days. Paul Tudor Jones says BTC one of the biggest winners of this market. Yeah. All right, there goes AMD up there, bro. It's really close to all-time highs. And it has to open up at these levels. So the question is, does it open up at these levels? It could. We are in small bull trade. I did buy a dip here. All right, again, AMD at all-time highs right now. At the top of the range, short term. I think I'm just gonna hold this break even now, guys. Speaking of that, there's the dip. Back to break even. I think I want to just let this sit though, just because it would have to break it during market hours anyway. I still think there's probably more upside edge. Look at that rejection here on AMD. And this was a 2-contract position, so I actually cut a little bit up here, so that's good. We're green nonetheless. But I love you. Alright, so AMD got up right to that all-time high level and then pulled all the way back here. Still trying here. We got 14 minutes left. I don't know. I don't know. This music, I'm not even picking out this music, to be honest. Hey, buddy. You doing? Oh, you got my walking stick over here? I'm like Gandalf right now with my hurt knee. You shall not pass, Jack. Here, come here. I love you, dude. Have a good day, bro. Good day, dude. Ugh. Thank you for my walking stick, man. I've never felt older ever. Look at my NASDAQ position push up. Never felt older ever. I call everybody bro, to be honest. All right, we're green. I'm gonna let this sit here. I think AMD's gonna test all-time highs at the open. AMD still pushing at 226s here. Maybe I'll cut a little piece. Maybe I'll cut the rest, I mean, up here. I'm just gonna get out there and wait. I'm gonna let the opening bell happen. I don't feel like messing with this until the opening bell. Ugh. I don't know. I'm from Louisiana, so I'll use a mix of bruh. Hey, bruh, come here. More of like a southern Louisiana thing. I'll say, hey, bruh, come here. But it's not really bro. Sometimes I use bro. I use bro with everybody. I call my wife bro. Gold's still pushing up. We're at 39.50s. Can you imagine being invested into ETFs or index funds? Yeah. I don't have to imagine it. AMD got a big OpenAI deal. Multi-billion-dollar GPU deal, data center deal for AMD. I mean, listen, I don't know if the market's in a bubble or not, but investing into index funds or mutual funds, S&P, NASDAQ, whatever you want to buy, it doesn't matter. I like S&P, NASDAQ, but dollar cost averaging over long periods of time is one of the single biggest edges the market ever gives you. Regardless of whether we crash or bubble bursts or pull back, regardless of that, right? It's one of the biggest statistical edges the market ever gives you. Yeah, we don't have data this week. Government shutdown. Southern Louisiana, how many pairs of overalls do you own? Surprisingly, none. Like, I'm from Baton Rouge, so I'm from like an hour away from New Orleans. And so, go Tigers, I guess, even though they lost last weekend. All right, AMD just ripped over highs again. How many corn cob pipes do you own? Ugh. Ever cooked and ate alligator at home? At home? No. I've eaten alligator though. It's not bad. It's a little chewy. Kind of tastes like a chewy chicken, to be honest. All right, we're at 227.40s right now. AMD's still up there. All right, we're at 227s. Again, opening bell at 9 minutes. I think markets are going to push up a little bit, maybe. I think AMD wants all-time highs, and it's right here. You know, this light green line is AMD all-time highs after the market opens. And so I think at very least we're going to push up a little bit to really confirm that all-time high break. And then maybe we come back down. I don't know. But again, when we were down here, I said my guess is on the bull side, and we made a little bit of money from it. But we're not doing the best the last few weeks, to be honest here. It's been a little bit tougher to make money. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are questioning is where is OpenAI getting all this money? Yeah, market's pricing in now a 3-week, 21-day government shutdown. Again, Nvidia reacted negatively to the AMC OpenAI deal. Not AMC, AMD OpenAI deal. Yeah, like alligator was okay, but I'm not gonna order it if I have a choice of something else. Like, it's all right. It's not something I want to eat on a regular basis. I tried it just for fun, you know. Bitcoin better long term than an ETF index? Probably, but there's more risk too. I like Bitcoin. I'm in Bitcoin. I'm glad it's going up, but I think you got to be objective about it, and there's a little bit more risk just because it's a newer market. Like the S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow, you know, like equities have been around for 100+ years, right? And so with that 100+ year history, there's more statistics to look back on, guess things, right? To gauge things. I mean, Bitcoin's a much newer market, and so with the newer market, there's obviously more risk, and I think that's just objectively true. But it's also like arguably one of the single best performing assets in history, and so I generally think it's going to go up, and I'm in it, but maybe not. All right, guys, here's the opening bell. 5 minutes. Short on AMD at the open. Hey, I'm not doing that with you, but good luck. Again, we did a poll. Will AMD hold? 52% of people say yes. We're pretty split down the middle on this poll. Nvidia is ripping up, dragging the Nasdaq up higher. So look at Nvidia up here. Nvidia did top a little bit higher. Gold coming down a little bit. Again, AMD is about 4 minutes into the 4 minutes before the opening bell. I tend to think AMD is at least going to break all-time highs. Maybe that means the Nasdaq goes higher. Look at Nvidia push back up too. Gold coming down, but you never know. There's variance. Yeah, I'm waiting a little bit to trade anymore. Yeah, we don't have any economic data, but we do have Jerome Powell later this week. We got Jerome Powell, 8:30 Thursday. Wednesday, we got the Fed minutes report. Tomorrow, we got Moran speaking multiple times. Bostic, Bowman speaking. Neil Kashkari speaking. Trade deficit data. Although is the trade deficit data delayed? I don't think we get trade deficit data either. So U.S. officials, T-Mobile files for 3-part senior notes. Barrick announces the sale of interest in Tongan for up to $305 billion. All right, guys, 3 minutes. Well, Nvidia's net down from it. So yeah, is it bad news for Nvidia? Sure, Nvidia's net down from it. Nvidia was at 190s prior to this AMD OpenAI news. It's now down to 185s. So it's down $5 a share for a roughly $200 stock. So it's down a decent percentage. And it's back up a little bit short term, but it's still net down. I have no idea, way low. No idea there. All right, chat, here we go. Opening bell, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, really. Last minute predictions. Are you bull or bearish for the opening bell? What do you guys think? Nasdaq still pushing up. Thesis was right. Now it doesn't mean it's gonna hold up here, but I think it makes sense. Sometimes it's about just finding stories in the market. AMD wants all-time highs. That's a very big milestone level for AMD, and it's been pretty far away for the last few years, but it's finally back up this morning. We plan to increase our NVIDIA purchasing over time. Yeah. All right, chat. 1 minute left until the market opens. Crazy market today. Again, market's now pricing in a 3-week government shutdown. 3-week gov shutdown. I tore my MCL. Big news in markets. Tore my MCL. AMD's very close to all-time highs. We'll probably at least test it at the opening bell. We got 50 seconds left after AMD and OpenAI announced a big deal. NVIDIA did react negatively from it. Gold's close to $4,000. AMD's around all-time highs. Nasdaq broke all-time highs earlier this morning. And we got 30 seconds until market opens. Let's see what happens. Hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Let's see what happens here. All right, here we go. 15 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up on stream. We appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, it's me tearing my MCL and my meniscus. Bull or bear, guys? Let me know. Bullish or bear sign. Here's the opening bell. All right, there's the bell. Let's watch AMD here. I tend to think we're going to move up at least short term, but we might pull back beforehand. NVIDIA's ripping up at the open. Maybe not ripping, but up. Again, I'm going to wait, though. I'm not going to make any trades here. Big correction at the opening bell. Maybe a squeeze down now from all the bulls. Well, let's start a squeeze down. Yeah, see, the all-time highs are still 227.30 here. If we weren't so close to the bell, I might actually buy up a big pullback if we get one, because I assume AMD is going to move back up to retest it. Yes. My knee's torn. My MCL, my meniscus. Not a full rupture. Partial tear. Alright, guys. So far we've had red action into the opening bell. AMD dipping down 2 to 220s. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit as well. Again, I would buy it up if we weren't so close to the bell. A little bit too close. NVIDIA dipping down too. Gold pulling back. Jiu-jitsu training. Aoki lock tapped a little bit too late. Turned the wrong way out of it. Heard a pop when it happened. I knew I was hurt when it happened, but why is Tesla going up? Tesla has fallen down a lot over the last few days, if you guys remember. Tesla's down. So, I mean, Tesla pushing up is probably just in rebounding of it. I think Tesla got upgraded a couple times this morning by a couple different banks and analysts. So, all right, we're now 2.5 minutes into the day here on the NASDAQ dipping down some. I'm going to try buying this dip here. It's too close to the opening bell to take a huge position. But I will try in anticipation of a potential rebound back up to highs. Gotta be careful though, I'm not gonna take a huge position here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm gonna let this 165 level test, but this is basically my wrist down here. Yeah, I'll cut it right there. Wait, too big of a drop. See if we get some better movement. Look at NVIDIA dip too, though. Oh. That's not true, Stefan. The partial tear is not as bad as a full. Partial tears here or there. Partial tears do heal on their own. I'm not gonna be able to train for a month or two for sure, but I don't need surgery. They're grade 2. Most of the time, grade 2 tears don't need surgery. Everything was still intact. It didn't move them out of their places in the MRI. So, does it suck? Yes. Am I gonna need surgery from it? Probably. Let's see what AMD does here. It's up there. Let's see what we get. We got a little bit of red at the opening bell, but I think we might bounce back here. Let's see. Yeah, so we got it 1 here. This flat. We already took some profit here. I just want to see if we keep bouncing back. Go. A bit more off. Gotta let the rest work here. There we go. I'm gonna cut it right there. Green suits the open for sure, but all right, guys. So yeah, there's the rebound that we caught. Yeah, so basically, you guys got me questioning. Look at gold rip up 39.62 here. I think gold wants 4,000, but my question with gold is, what does it do after 4,000? Also, y'all check out Top Step if you haven't already. No PDT and futures. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose money. It doesn't make sense to fund your own account. Most day traders lose. Right? Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders lose money. Hold on. I'm gonna buy this real quick. Most day traders lose money. Doesn't, there we go. We got a quick pop. I'm gonna cover this up here too. Most day traders lose money, so it makes no sense to fund your own account thousands of dollars to probably give it back. Instead, you can risk $50 a month for the base Top Step account. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account. 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands. If you fail, you lose $50. Best of both worlds. Zero commission on Top Step X. Some of the most reliable on payouts. You can reset funded accounts as well. Patterns in future get you around the PDT rule. In the future, there's no PDT rule. Patterns are very similar to equities patterns. It's a great way to learn. I'll put the link up. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them, so I'm biased, of course. There's the link. You can check it out if you want to help support the channel. But yeah, we appreciate the love. Yeah, I mean, basically, it says the vast majority of MCL tears heal on their own without surgery. Partial or moderate tears like mine almost always heal fully with conservative treatment. Only rare big tears, which is not this one. It says with proper healing, it's not more susceptible to tears as long as I do it right. All right, NASDAQ coming back down, but again, I'm kind of waiting here. NVIDIA still looks like it's holding. The question is, does AMD make a move up there to test all-time highs? I don't know. That's the question. Does AMD move up there to test all-time highs? Tesla's still moving up. Robinhood dipping down some. Oh, you mean Robinhood the site? Robinhood's down a little bit under 150s right now. Nvidia's still popping up though. Again, I think the big question that you have to ask yourself today is, does AMD make a move up here to test all-time highs? If you think yes, you could theorize that the NASDAQ might rip up and start testing all-time highs. If you think no and it's overextended and we pull back, maybe the NASDAQ dips with it. Which one do you guys think is the most likely outcome? Does AMD move up to test all-time highs today, or does it correct some? Oh yeah, I get it. I appreciate it. I'm in pain right now. This hurts, dude. I gotta limp around to walk. Next correction makes more sense after initial run up. Does Nvidia go up if AMD starts to go back down? Maybe. I don't know if they're completely like 100%. I mean, they're obviously not 100% correlated, but I don't think they're like pegged to the. I don't think they're pegged to be inverse completely yet. There's definitely a little bit of inverse going on today with Nvidia dropping when the news came out about AMD and OpenAI, but. People are saying Robinhood's crashing. Hey, your trades make up for the pain today. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm trying. You know. And NASDAQ's still coming back down. AMD's still dropping as well here. What is this coming, dude? Marvell still climbing. All right, NASDAQ come back down because AMD is dropping down with us. Look at the NASDAQ come down. Big drop here. This is a very quick drop though. Let's see if there's any news. No GameStop. Meta hit 600s. Gold still ripping up. Look at gold. Meta down to 690s. It's probably time for Meta to pull back, man. This thing was up wildly over the last year. VIX spiking. Make sure there's no breaking news. AMD Barclays raises AMD price target. Nick Timorous. Again, AMD up 38% originally. At not there now. 101 billion in value added, they say. Don't see any breaking news though. All right. I'm gonna buy this right here. One micro. Take a longer term rebound trade, see if we make that move back up there. There we go. There. Top 3 greatest algorithms ever here. I'm not telling you to buy. Maybe the move might be done, but look at this algo right there. Check that out. It actually did pretty good at calling the bottom of this move right here too. All right, guys. If AMD starts to run and that drags it back up too. Wild range though. Sorry, AI guy. AI guy. Gotta just. It's all good. But yeah, I'm gonna put you in timeout because you keep saying it. You keep telling people to copy me, and I don't want people to copy me, bro. Not an investment professional. Like I said, by the time I showed you guys the algo, it's a little late. Try to copy it, I think, but I still think we might push up. I think it depends on what AMD does here, though. I think AMD is a big level. Sorry, friend, but you're banned for 5 minutes. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm green since the open, which is good, but it's been a little bit tougher to make money the last few weeks. We got some stuff this week. We got Jerome Powell on Thursday, the Fed minutes on Wednesday, and more stuff going on this week. So we got stuff going on this week, but we don't have any economic data. Hopefully the shutdown ends, but I don't think it will. Yeah, Robinhood stock is down. Crypto stocks are up. AMD was price targets raised and it's up big, but AMD looks like it's still coming down though. Look. And AMD does look like a little bear flaggish on a 1 minute chart. Maybe a 5 minute chart might clean it up some, but too early on a 5 minute chart. But it looks weak. Here's the thing though, the 200 exponential right here. 209.30s for AMD. How can the VIX be below 17? Because the VIX goes up as the NASDAQ and everything go down, and the NASDAQ broke all-time highs today. And so the VIX is low because markets are around all-time highs. Apply Digital. Yeah, we got earnings. I don't think they're this week, are they? Hold on, let me see. I think we might have bank earnings this week. Yeah, so next week we got bank earnings. This week, nothing really big. Next week we got earnings. Next week is earnings season starting. Next week we got Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Nothing big though, I don't think, next week. The big earnings starts the week after next. We're supposed to have CPI next week, but we don't. That's the problem, right? Governments are closed, so we don't have CPI data next week unless they start it back up. Apply Digital earnings Thursday, okay. Yeah. Shutdown can last indefinitely. We don't really know when it's going to end. Feels like the VIX should be higher. Well, that means you think the market should be lower, Max. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. AMD and NVIDIA pulling back a little bit. VIX is up. I mean, it's at 1695s, so it's elevated since the opening bell, mostly because the NASDAQ is down since the bell, but... Robinhood's down today. The website's down. FX starting to climb. Maybe I'll take one more position here. Long. We made most money since the bell. We're taking very small positions today, though, guys. I'm not really the most confident in either direction today, so I don't mind buying this, but it's going to be small. We start to break down, we'll cut it. Give it some time, figure it out. We're green. Now we're a little red. We're back to green. Again, a lot of it's dependent on AMD. If AMD bounces right here at the 200 exponential, maybe we'll hold it. But if not, I'm going to cut this. We're green since the bell, even with this trade. But I'm hoping this holds. All right, now we're flat. Now we're green. Video looks to be right at the 200 exponential. I'm probably going to cut this pretty soon, though. Let's see if AMD bounces right here and NVIDIA bounces right here. That's what I'm hoping for, but it's looking like we're going to have to cut this. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. We're too close to lows. I don't want to. I think we'll probably still bounce, but I have no idea. It's just too close. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down here, guys. We're green since the opening bell, so that's good. We'll see what happens today. But yeah, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT rolling futures. I'm gonna go limp around my house with my Torrent MCL, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. No PDT rule on futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some commodities. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose money. And so check out check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. There's no PDT rule. Get you around the PDT rule and it limits your risk. Most day traders are going to lose money regardless of where they go. And so it makes way more sense to try this first than fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars and probably lose it like most day traders end up doing. And so instead of risking all that, just try Top Step. No PDT rule. Great way to learn. Y'all be careful today. We'll see what we'll see what markets give us. And we'll see what we get today. Yeah, as soon as I close the stream, though, it's immediately going to bring into tomorrow's stream. Tomorrow we got some Fed speakers and stuff going on, so see what that looks like. But yeah, y'all have a great day.